Upgrades.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The finale of The Legend of Vox Machina Season 2, The Hope Devourer.
That is aptly named because there is a large part of that episode where you're just like, oh, they're boned. They're super boned.
Like, first, like this episode lived up to being such a great finale. It's like it starts off a little funny because it basically starts off with Scandalin like talking to his grandkids, basically like the story of him, doing this, but it's just because he's knocked out inside the belly of the dragon. Yeah, but God, I'm just trying. Sorry, we just literally finished, so I'm still trying to like process everything.
Our minds are still reeling from the implications of everything.
Because you would think that just the battle alone would be enough, and like everything that happened in the battle, but they leave you with this like crazy like flip of a person all of a sudden. Which also like how does she only poison certain wines and not all of them?
I don't know. I mean, she is like a green dragon is a poison dragon, so I mean, if anyone's gonna be good at it, it's gonna be her.
Yeah, touche.
If she can secrete poison the way that Umbrasyl can secrete acid, then maybe even in her human form, like as she's handing cups out, she's just like doing drops from her palm or something like that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
There's an Easter egg in that opening sequence, by the way, when Scanlan is reading the stories of Vox Machina to his grandkids. He tells them about like the time that they saved Craghammer or went adventuring in Craghammer. That is actually the first. That is the first story arc that is part of the first campaign that is airing on Geek and Sundry.
Oh, that's kind of neat. Okay.
Yeah, they go into Craghammer because Kima, the other gnome paladin that's part of the Council of Tal'Dorei.
Okay.
She's like that dark-skinned gnome that's with Allura.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is, I think she went to go visit Craghammer and then just never came back. So they're sent to go find out. And then they find like a whole mind flayer colony underneath a dwarven city.
Oh God.
And they're being ruled by like, I think like some crazy beholder that has like some kind of demonic artifact that's like implanted in its head.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would have been fun. But let's get to the actual episode though.
Yeah, no. So the battle with the dragon I thought was so well done. Like,
yeah.
So, and then obviously poor Grog, man, like his leg's freaking broken and they try to like, fix it.
I feels him all the way up because he falls from like a mountain's height.
Yeah.
And then he has to, I don't know how this helps him, but he smashes the Titan stone knuckles together and gets big. I feel like that hurts you more.
Give him more health though?
Oh, maybe. I don't think it gives you any more health, but like, or like mechanically speaking, I don't think it does anything to save him from the fall. It just looks cooler, I guess.
See, because I would think if he's bigger, he would technically be stronger or at least have more strength. So when he hit the ground,
I can see that. Maybe he like punches the ground right before.
Yeah, like it's less, I guess, less impact, but
the Grog is wrecked.
Yeah,
when they find him,
well, I'm like he's wrecked. Their healer has no more, left. So that's also an issue. But I guess in before the fight even starts, you kind of see Scandalin going back to his old ways of like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
which is interesting because I figured with everything going on with him, like that would almost be his like aha moment. But
Yeah.
you almost see that repeating a few times in battle. Like he ends up finding the quick way out once the dragon starts like destroying them. Um, but yeah, like at one point, like Umbridge has freaking what 3 vestiges because he has Grog's
He's got the
Grog,
knuckles, the bow, and Myth Carver.
yeah. Um, so yeah, like this was just very like it was very well done. The one part that I think, and also like I think both of us, it's like Ripley did absolutely nothing but just watch.
It was surprising. I really thought, but I mean, she's smart. She's like, oh, I see how the tide is turning. She probably doesn't want to blow up her spot.
I suppose, but then what's her play now? Is she gonna go to a different dragon? Like she has
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she was only working with it felt like she was only working with Umbrasyl, and it's very clear that Thordak could not care less about these vestiges. So
yeah,
it's not like she can team up with Thordak either. And I'm pretty sure Voragal, the white dragon, I'm pretty sure they are too dumb to work with her.
yeah. That was, I mean, so she's just an interesting loop that you just kind of see her in the shadows and then like walking off.
Mm-hmm.
But well, okay, so ready? Now I'm finding plot holes that I'm thinking about. So Vex and Vox, wouldn't they be able to hear her?
Maybe because I mean, like, especially in the last episode, they made it very clear that they have like really high perceptions.
Yeah.
So maybe my other thing that I can think about is like it's just like fog of war, like they got bigger fish to fry. They're not thinking about her.
Yeah, they
So
probably didn't even realize that there's someone else there.
yeah,
But no, but this battle, I mean, was super dope.
the pacing is excellent too because like when things are getting intense, they're able to cut back to Scanlan and like have him go through his moral quandary where he
Yeah.
wants to be this hero, but at the same time, like his instincts are like I'm not that guy, man. I gotta run.
Yeah, which is really neat seeing. I love how they portrayed it because obviously it almost shows like he's walking away from the battle. And
Oh
like
yeah, at one
as
point it
soon as
definitely
that
feels that
happens,
way.
you're just kind of like, dang it, like he's literally going to leave like the whole team behind.
Yeah.
To almost like fend for themselves. And then you get this like, which I understand why they did it this way, but it almost seemed too easy. But you see Scandalin grab the sword when once the dragon has all, which by the way he grabbed the gauntlets
Mhm.
was super awesome. Like he was invincible. You kind of see Grog punching, and in my head I was like, oh, he's punching like his stomach or something. And
Yeah.
like as soon as like he shows himself, it's literally just his hands that like his little claws are all around there. So at first I thought that the dragon was going to just rip off his arms altogether. So that was
I
kind of
don't think you would be inaccurate in thinking that too. Like we've definitely seen that level of violence wrought in this
yeah.
show.
So and I think that's what I was expecting. So I don't know if Grog just kind of realized, so he let go of the gauntlets.
Mhm.
But as soon as the dragon kind of like boasts for like a hot second, like, oh, I have all three, out of nowhere, like Scanlan obviously using his special hand ability. Um I was about to call it the factual name, but I know
No,
we
Bigby's hand.
yeah, I was like, after all the shenanigans happening, I know I can't do that. But it was just so neat just seeing him grab it and just kind of take this like hero role basically finally where he's just like, nope, you only got two. Um I did feel and maybe I'm just being nitpicky like right afterwards, but I expected it would take more to kill this dragon than just like
A stab in the eye.
Yeah, a stab in the eye.
Yeah, that's definitely more of like a, what is it, like a theatrical moment than it is like a D&D mechanical moment.
Yeah, because I felt, you know, as much as this dragon was like basically destroying this whole team, like I literally felt like that was the only thing that I was like, man, they made that scene. I guess for me, it almost took away by of how powerful these dragons really are. You
Oh, I
know?
can see that. But again, we're talking like a vestige of divergence. Also, I don't know what he did, but like he stabs him in the eye, but then he turns it, and then like it was like a magical gunshot.
Yeah, it's like a
So
whole
it was like a headshot. Like they even depicted it like a headshot, like because you see his head cocked to one side and all of like this magical energy coming out the other side. And I was like, oh snap, that looks cool. I don't know what happened there, but it looked cool.
Yeah, so maybe that's maybe the sword is a lot stronger than we think or can even do. But you know, for me, it's like you're so entrenched in this episode, and once that happens, you kind of see them walking away, and it almost looks like, you know, like walking to the sunset. And I thought that's how the season was going to end. And in my head, I'm like, you hmm, you can't leave a season like that because you're basically leaving it for not getting renewed, or like it's actually a closure of that, you know?
Yeah.
But luckily we get like that extra 2 minutes of like,
Yep.
oh crap moment where they're back at it was
Whitestone.
yeah, thank you, Whitestones. They're back there. Cassandra's giving like this awesome toast, you know, for them and all this. But you slowly start seeing everyone except for Vox Machina like passing out, being poisoned. And here's where everything gets flipped upside down, where I'm still like scratching my head trying to figure out like WTF. So when did she first show up?
Keeper Yedin shows up in season 1.
Yeah.
I think when they first get to Whitestone, she is one of the leaders of the rebellion.
Yeah, so
not even rebellion. Like they're not even in full rebellion. She's just trying to help people survive living underneath the Briarwoods.
No, that's true. So this whole time, and I guess here's the part that's going to be confusing. We don't know if it's this whole time or if it's just as of recently, but she's a dragon. Like
she's the green dragon.
Yeah, which is wild to me, because like none of them could sense that she's there, because remember it was what is it Vex who always has the reaction when there's
Vex. So Vex as a ranger has like a preferred enemy.
Yeah.
And obviously it's dragons. And so she can feel like that twinge whenever dragons are near. But for whatever reason, this dragon was able to skip that.
Yeah.
I will say, so I don't. I'm remembering some stuff from earlier this season now, and I'm thinking that this isn't necessarily the entire time, because if we think about it, when they were in Pyra, the Flamekeeper, or whatever the name of the head of the Pyra Ashari were, said that there was a traitor in their midst. Remember that someone had released Thordak.
That someone did it from the inside.
Yeah. So that means like, unless Keeper Yedin was there doing that, like I don't think Keeper Yedin is necessarily only that green dragon. I think the green dragon just took her form to sneak in to that.
Like where is she then? Like,
that begs the question, where is Keeper Yedin, and is she okay?
Tied up. But the thing that I found crazy is, so like the green dragon wants to work with Vox Machina in taking out, you know, obviously the big bad one. So which was that, the white dragon at the very end that met up? Which dragon was the last one that you see with the red dragon?
Yeah, that's Voragal, the white dragon.
Okay.
That's the ice one that flew to Vox Machina's keep and just like obliterated all of those villagers.
Okay, perfect. That one looks menacing. It looks like a freaking dinosaur more than a dragon.
I
But
really love that design. It looks just brute. It just
yeah,
looks like a straight brute.
but so I guess the part that's like throwing me off is why would this green dragon want to help Vox, and then like she made it very clear that they're going to need like more people, like a like a bigger team. So I wonder, obviously they should be introducing new characters at this point if they're going to need a bigger team, but like it just throws me off. And she was so calm, like she's like, if I wanted you guys dead, like I could have done it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's the part for me where I'm like, what? Like
Yeah.
it's very perplexing. And I don't know if she was just waiting to see if someone was going to be strong enough to take out one of these dragons, or
Mm-hmm.
if she knew that Cassandra was helping out Umbridge and all that situation. Like so much, like it almost makes you question everything, which as always, it makes you want to rewatch the whole season again to kind of
And get context. Yeah.
yeah, to see if you can pick up stuff. So like what are your thoughts on that initially?
So going as far back as episode one of the things that I said that I really love about Vox Machina and the depiction of everything in it is that like a lot of the lore in D&D is reflected in the way characters are shown or monsters are shown. And green dragons, she is acting exactly like a green dragon right now. They're very deceptive, they're very cunning, and it looks like that she may have her own agenda, which would be fine. Like you remember like back in our childhood when we watched like primarily I would say like Transformers, like Starscream was always a second in command, but he was always gunning for that top spot, like
Yeah,
looking for a way to betray Megatron.
yeah,
Like I think this green dragon has that kind of relationship with Thordak, where
actually a great
she is
person.
very clearly subordinate to him, but if he even leaves a tiny gap, she will take that moment, take that opportunity to chip away at that at his strength, so that she can then become the one on top.
The top dog. Interesting. That I mean that's very possible. Which now makes me wonder, which I mean obviously I know isn't it, but obviously they can take the form of people per se. What if she
Mm-hmm.
was Ripley this whole time?
Oh wow! I could like again like they're doing a lot of stuff now, particularly in these last 3 episodes, that kind of split off from the way things happened in the original campaign. So I would not even put that out of
Yeah.
thought. Like I think that that's entirely a possibility. I don't know how many seasons Vox Machina is supposed to run, and I'm trying to pace it out like and see if there are other arcs that they can fit in. Like if it's only 3, if they're only going to do 3 and they're only going to end it with the Chroma Conclave, I can very easily see the green one pretending to be Anna Ripley and just like kind of pitting the black one against the red one.
Yeah.
Because again, that would also be in line with how green dragons operate. Again, they're not like frontline fighters; they're casters,
Yeah.
and they are they're more about like stirring the pot and getting people like and manipulating people.
Oh man. But yeah, so
Yeah.
this I mean, overall this finale has me like mind boggers right now.
Wait,
Cause
let's not like okay. So she said that like, you need more than the vestiges to take
yeah,
on Thordak, and it's because she knows, I guess, a little bit of Thordak's plan. Because at the very end, we see Vorgal like reporting to Thordak, and he says, the vestige bearers have felled Umbrasyl, and Thordak is like, I couldn't care
Yeah.
because my army is about to grow, and the camera pans down into this huge fire pit, and we see a lot of like these elliptical kind of objects that let's say it. I mean, they look like eggs, and
Little
I
wound.
don't like if, geez, man, if there's just like that many dragons about to pop off.
Yeah.
Also, is Thordak a lady? I don't know how dragons work. I don't know how like dragon mating works. Is it like a penguin thing where the dad watches over them more
Yeah.
than the lady after the eggs are? Also, where's the mom of all these eggs? Or maybe that huge gem makes it so that Thordak can just create eggs. Who knows? It's
Yeah.
wild. I'm really excited about season 3, and I'm just like, oh, so we gotta wait like I don't know, another year. Hopefully not. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's realistically, I mean, I would say, yeah, because once this comes out, you would think that like late summer or fall would be Invincible, and
Mm-hmm.
then you would have this again at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So it definitely adds a lot. Like this is very, it's very neat to see where they can take this, obviously, and where they can do, you know, what they can do with it. um so yeah, like I'm blown away. Like I was not expecting that ending at all. I guess from your point of view, so let's kind of like pivot a little bit, and let's just kind of talk overall season. um what were your thoughts of this overall season? You know, from obviously season 1 already ended and everyone thought it was great, but do you think season 2 lived up to the hype? Let's go with that.
100%. It lives up to the hype, and it definitely benefits from the fact that it has a story. Sorry, a season long arc rather than season 1 where you had to do that blue dragon thing first off just to kind of like set the mood,
Yeah.
and then you had the Briarwood arc. Like this one, it's like it's all Chroma Conclave the entire time.
Yeah.
So you have a very focused story, and you get to dive into like what makes these characters tick. We got to see Grog's backstory. We got to see Vex and Vax's backstory. We got to see Keyleth a little bit. We got to see them grow. We saw Scanlan obviously have a huge character moment. There are like huge character moments throughout this season. The thing that I would probably say season 1 does better is that it gives Percy like almost, I don't know, 8 episodes to have his arc, because like the Briarwoods are just like solely a Percy thing.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else gets maybe like 2 or 3 episodes this season to focus on their character stuff. But because we get so much of it, I think that makes up for the fact that it's not as long as Percy's. Like instead of just getting one long Percy thing, we get a bunch of stuff diving into the rest of the members of Vox Machina.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. I find it like I think last season focused predominantly on Percy and Pike, actually. Like Pike finding, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and this season it's wild because you have 12 episodes, and I feel that the entire team, like it's almost like almost all of them got at least 2 episodes dedicated to like their backstories. But at the same time, the pacing was great. Like I really don't think there were any filler episodes, and I think it's because you have this story that's so grand that even when you take the cliff notes of it, it's still so action packed. I think there was maybe 2 episodes that there wasn't some type of battle or war in, like some type of major fight, maybe 3, I think. But for the most part, every episode had some type of amazing like action in it. This is just like I'm really blown away, and I think it's interesting because you know the story somewhat, you know, and you kind of heard it. So it's neat because you kind of understand what's coming next somewhat, you know, because I know there's a couple of times where they've deviated from it. But from someone who who doesn't know the story and is just kind of watching this like fresh eyes, like it's really amazing. And it does make me want to go back to like, you know, like the YouTube channels and all that and find this entire series and start watching it. So it's really neat how I almost wish they would, and I understand doing like the separation of it, but it would be really neat if they somehow tie that in, like even at the end of the episodes or at the end of the season, like if you want to see more, like check us out, you know, like almost doing a callback, but obviously Amazon's not going to do a callback to a Google product, but
Yeah.
will. I'm like, so I happily will. So make sure you go back on YouTube and check out the Critical Role for this. But it's just I find it so neat how you can have so many people in a team and yet everyone feels heard. And I mean, heck, you even get the backstory of Trinket, which is like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, it's
He's a
just
pet, and you
yeah,
get his
like,
backstory.
it's just a little bear, and yet you still get like the back, like the way the creators have gone about this has really blown my mind. Like it's so good, and it's something.
Just a testament to how good a thing can be when the creators of the thing are involved with the creation of the adaptation, or like the fact that like the people who are making the thing love the thing that they're doing.
Yeah, and it's not just you're not just buying a license to use the name and do something.
So I was just at a convention where I sat in on a panel about the depiction of D&D on the small and large screen, and it turned into what they said was like a complaint session, because like all they had was the D&D cartoon from like the 80s, the D&D movie from like 2000, and the trailer for the new movie coming out this year. And then all throughout that, like one person kept saying, Vox Machina is the only depiction of D&D that I like. And it's because it was like made by fans, and it was like kind of like a bottom up kind of approach to the storytelling, because they started with the thing that everyone loves and then build up, rather than being like, oh, let's find some stars, plug them into the appropriate roles, and then people will love that.
Well, and I think something that I can appreciate is, so for example, like we're the total extremes, you know, and yet we both connected with this show and we both were able to enjoy the show. Because it's not like I used to get so frustrated when people like Harry Potter or the Twilight series or like Hunger Games, you know, like I'm thinking about like those young adult type of books that everyone read, and when they go see the movie, like instantly it's like, oh well, the book was better, you know. It's like it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to spend, you know, like a couple days reading a book. Like I just want 2 hours escape. And I think Vox Machina, like the way that they've been able to create this show, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, because the creators and the original people that did this are involved in this, and the people that are the voice actors, you know, were involved and like care about, like you get this different authentication basically of it. I think the only thing I can describe it, it's almost like Henry Cavill playing Witcher. Like that dude,
because he loved the thing.
loved that role inside and out.
Yeah.
So you get this different type of, like he understands these like the character he was playing so much better. And I think the people here understand their characters, understand like where they started, where they need to end, and they can voice that out perfectly. And obviously the animators have done a phenomenal job, because I think the animation on this is something that we barely have talked about, but the animation was spectacular on this.
The production studio Titmouse, they're the ones who do it. They're an incredible animation studio. they've done a ton of really good work, like on stuff that that doesn't even look anything like this. Like I think Titmouse did a small snippet of The Amazing World of Gumball when they did like an anime episode, and they were the ones who animated the anime part because it was like it had that super high quality animation. So yeah, like Philip Barassa, he's the character designer for this. He did all of the character designs for like those New 52 era DC animated movies like Justice League War, etc.
So no, I mean,
yeah, just great stuff.
This is it's just, and I'm trying to think because I know Amazon has been like just about the only risk taker when it comes to things like this. But a show like this, I don't think would remotely work as well as it did if it was like a live action show. Like it would. There's just there's just so much craziness happening that it wouldn't work.
Can you imagine them trying to shove real actors in a dragon's butt? That's not gonna work.
You know, PETA somehow will have something to say with it, and you're like, it's a fictitious animal.
Yeah.
They're like, yes, but it didn't consent. No, like I this has hit at such a prime time, you know, and I think it's usually hard for like a second, like a second follow-up to a show to be better than the first, but I would almost say like season 2 is better than season 1. Even though season 1 like introduced you to these characters and made you like love this team, like season 2 just ramps everything up that much higher, which you know, it's exciting, but I wonder like how in the world do you keep that pace up for season 3?
Oh, I mean, so again, it really depends on whether or not like the Chroma Conclave is going to be the end all animated Vox Machina. Because after Chroma Conclave, there is like one final arc, and that one can be pretty insane. But unfortunately, I think it ties a lot to like licensed D&D stuff.
Yeah,
so I don't know if they'll do it.
I'm like, which is another discussion for another day. Because
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I've been slowly learning about this here more and more recently, but if you're in the D&D world, then you know all the, I'll just say shenanigans that are happening now, and how much people are not pleased with how things are going. But yeah, no, I'll say, you know, closing thoughts for this, like overall, like this season is like a 10 out of 10 for me. Like there was nothing that I could negatively say, or that I even like was like, oh, like this episode was a complete filler episode, and there was no need. Like every single episode was valuable, was good. You get more invested in this team, like as the episodes go on, like more and more, to the point where you know you feel like you are part of the team. So yeah, like I completely love this show. So yeah, for me, this is just top notch. How about you, Mike? What are some of your closing thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is all killer, no filler. Just so many good moments. The character stuff has been so great. All of the Easter eggs have been so gratifying to find and to watch. I'm sure I'm not even catching all of them, to be honest, because it's been so long since I've seen campaign 1. But I'm just enamored with the way this show has really pulled off. And again, like I think this is like another result of the fact that like we grew up during a certain time where action cartoons were it. Like Saturday morning cartoons were largely like, I mean, because they were selling toys, were about like action figures and like cool like fights and stuff like that. And that largely has kind of fallen away, like and we see more like funny cartoons today. In terms of like American animation, what kids are watching, they're watching things like Adventure Time or Craig of the Creek and stuff like that. And that's also good in its own way. But like, I mean, obviously this is for our generation, so like these are people who grew up watching like Batman the animated series or something like that.
No,
So like we get to see that hardcore action that's largely been missing from the American landscape of animation. Like you have to go to anime to get stuff like this.
Yeah, and I will say this is, and Amazon is realistically Amazon's the only one that's like pushing the edge in terms of like straight rated R like cartoons. At the end of the day, the only other place that I can think of is I would say Netflix with Big Mouth, but other than that, like but that I wouldn't even put it as like I put that more.
I would say closer comparisons would be Dota on Netflix and Arcane on Netflix.
Yeah. No, true.
But like they don't. I don't know, man. For me, they don't touch this.
Yeah, like this. It's interesting. Like the two, I guess, comic book adaptations that Amazon has kind of put its faith on have been just stellar. And
the idea that like there is a market for rated R adaptations of these things.
Yeah, which is awesome, because I mean, with the success that this is having, with the success that, you know, Invincible is having, like it's opening up this new chapter. And in a weird way, it's like our Saturday morning cartoons before adults.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Which
I'm 100% agree with that.
I'm like, I'm all for. So, but yeah, no, I would say, obviously, if you stuck around this long with us throughout this whole journey, let us know what you think of this season. Like, what are some of your highs? What are some of your lows? What's something you want to see like in season 3? Like, I think for me, you know, this just kind of goes in such, it opens up so many doors. Like, I want to see how they can possibly take out, you know, the remaining dragons. And I'm trying to see like who they're gonna add to the team, like in order to make all this happen. So it'll just be really neat. And you know, as always, like I want to see how these characters keep evolving. Like I think that's something that this show has done so well. It's like you think like these characters have reached their peak, and next thing you know, one of them has wings and they can fly freely, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that happened this episode.
Yeah, that and it's little stuff like that. Like it's, I think that's the part that I'm like, that's so neat. It's like you think you've reached the ceiling, and then like an episode happens, and you're just like, holy crap, that was just the floor.
Yeah,
like,
you just bust through it.
Yeah, you can just keep on improving.
Like Scanlan busting through Umbrasyl's butthole or his chest.
I love it. No, this is awesome though. But yeah, guys, definitely drop a comment down below. Let us know like just your overall thoughts, what you thought about this. If you know what you want to see next season. Like this is just spectacular stuff. So I mean, I know I give this a 10 out of 10, you know, and I don't see much stuff coming close to how great this show is. But yeah, other than that, Mike, any other closing thoughts or anything?
Yeah, I mean, just again, like Amazon and Vox Machina and Critical Role, they've kind of just reminded me just how good American animation can be when it really pushes the envelope. And I would love other studios to kind of take a lesson from that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Take the risk because it's worth it. Because people like us to watch it, and we will love it. But yeah, on that note, this is Mike and Jorge as always, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.